race. It was his first win in Sports 1000. Race gets underway. Yellow flags, one or two of them are a bit slow away, but it looks like it's Dan Clues that's got the best of the starts there, and he is going to lead into the first corner. Can he get beyond the first corner this time? Because he was in the gravel trap at Clairvaux in yesterday's race. He's got further than he did yesterday. That's good news. Not so good news for the 199 car. That's Alex Jones in the BDN. The car is damaged and it's in the gravel trap, but it's managed to get its way out, which is very good news for everybody. And so it is Dan Clues leading the way, and it looks like it's his teammate. No, it's not. It's his car, Austin, isn't it? In second place in the Spire. So it's Mittel versus Spire out front at the moment, Josh.
Yeah, because Noah Balderson still needs to learn how to get this car off the line quickly. It was a problem all last year. He admitted that it hasn't really got any better this weekend at Croft. But he's up to third position. He retired yesterday. A throttle body, I think, came loose yesterday. Very simple fix. That was done in a couple of seconds, I think, but it meant he was a non-finisher, as was Dan Clues, the champion from last year, who on cold tyres, locked up, went straight on into the gravel. No damage done, but again, no significant points for he or his teammates. So they will be looking to play catch-up up against yesterday's winner, Cole Austin, who again made a very good start indeed, but couldn't quite get to the front, as he briefly managed in the early stages yesterday. So it's Clues from Austin. Balderston is fighting back. He's there in third, and then Jonathan McGill, who had a great run yesterday, he's there in fourth place.
Yes, it was in the end Austin against McGill for the victory in yesterday's race. The two Spire drivers, both with quite a few years of Sports 1000 experience between them. There is McGill just ahead of Daniel Ashby, who's in fifth place. Colin Chapman, who was on the podium yesterday, is in sixth position. And it's Hodgkinson, Hack, Brayshaw and Williamson, and we've not yet had the BDN through, which was in the gravel trap briefly on the first lap. But the leaders going down to Tower Corner, and it is the car of Dan Clues in the lead of the race, from Carl Austin in second and Noah Osbalderston in third position. And they are flicking their way left and right through the Jim Clark S's up towards the right-hander at Sunny for the second time.
Feels like Osbalderston is catching very quickly here, isn't he? From especially where he was at turn one on lap one. So he's caught Cole Austin, who was over a second behind, as they turn through Sunny, and Cole Austin, who's been coming on as a driver over the last few years very impressively indeed. He's potentially going to lose out to second. Osbalderston up the curb, up the grass, goes through round the outside of the second part of the complex to complete that move into the top, into the second spot for now then for the teenager Noah Osbalderston, down to third position for the driver from Devon, Cole Austin, but he will stay in the tow up towards Clairvaux Corner. And yeah, Osbalderston does set the fastest lap of the race despite having to make that move. He had Austin looking down the inside, but Osbalderston stuck to his line and is absolutely flying, trying to put yesterday's disappointment behind him.
Yeah, Mattel as the team, Mattel Cars hoping to have a much better result than yesterday, where their two leading contenders both DNF'd.
The team have got a quite exciting month because they are going to Monaco just after Brands Hatch. They've got 3 Jedis at Brands Hatch next week. They take the cars back, then they will be off to Monaco to run Dan Gore, former 750 Motor Club race winner, in his Tyrrell on the Monaco Historique.
That's quite something to look forward to, isn't it, for the South Coast based team?
Not a bad for a dad and lad who ran in low cost a few years ago.
No, exactly. From low cost to Monte Carlo. There's a story for you. Anyway, we've got the leaders heading towards the complex once again. This is lap 3 of the race. I think Osbalderston probably is taking time out of it. Certainly taking time out of Dan Clues, isn't he? Because it's virtually with him now. It was a second and a half the deficit at the start of the lap. Of course, Osbalderston was on pole position for this race, and they're going to come through. There's a black and orange flag, which is a mechanical warning flag. That is to Naeem Hack in the number 15 car. I think possibly some bodywork damage they're observing for him.
And Daniel Ashby's just had an off at the hairpin, and he's lost some positions. He was in 5th, challenging Jonathan McGill ahead. He's dropped to 7th, I think. Yeah, Hack's about to complete the lap. Yeah, it's the front, or the left-hand side panel is collapsing, isn't it, on that spire. So is Dan Clue's going to be able to pick up the pace now that he's seen Osbaldeston catch him pretty rapidly? Osbaldeston was in the 25s there, 1 minute 25.6, which was 7 tenths quicker than the fastest lap yesterday. So, yeah, Noah is looking very impressive here in year 2 of his car racing career. He joined the championship last year, finished 3rd in the championship last season, scored a victory. He's from Suffolk. Meanwhile, down the back straight, that is Hack slowing down, isn't it, to the mechanical flags. So here be for the pit lane. Won't be able to catch on the screen here the damage to here to the left-hand side of his car. Might
have just had a little bit of a hit there, I guess, possibly in the opening corners of the race that's caused that damage. Here are the leaders, though, into the complex for the 4th time in this 20-minute race that we have for the Sports 1000s. Double header for them this weekend. Originally slated as 3 races, but in fact just 2 in the end. And it is still nose to tail between these two. Carl Austin on his own now in 3rd position, Johnny McGill 4th, so they've not had the intensity of the battle yesterday. And Colin Chapman, after that moment for Daniel Ashby a lap or so ago, he is up to 5th position with Ian Hutchinson 6th and Ashby down to 7th. But the leaders separated by 4 tenths as they came across the line that time. Not a quick time for Osbaldeston, but it was a personal best for Clues that time, a 1:26.272. But of course, Osbaldeston's on a 1:25.669 so far in this race.
Osbaldeston's very late on the brakes here into Tower Bend, dives up the inside of his teammate. They're wheel to wheel now, and Osbaldeston will go through. That was very decisive, very late on the brakes into Tower Bend, and Noah Osbaldeston then leads here at Croft like he did yesterday before those problems struck. But he is looking very rapid indeed in this MC53 this year.
That's absolutely right. So it's Osbaldeston now in the lead of the race. Number 24, the youngster, ahead of Dan Clues, former F1000 champion, as well as the Sports 1000 champion last year. Watching Ian Hutchinson and Daniel Ashby now. Ashby trying to recover ground after that moment at the hairpin a lap or so ago. Yeah, Hutchinson in the number 69 Spire, the driver from Doncaster. There's Colin Chapman just going through in 5th spot in the ex-Richard Morris car, turning his way through the hairpin. Now he's not too far behind Johnny McGill, is he? Who's in 4th place. Hutchinson and Ashby, number 33, right from Derby, head over the line to complete lap number 5. Osbaldeston on that lap that he got the lead has also done the best lap of the race, a 1:25.510, and he has put a bit of daylight between himself now and Dan Clues, I can tell you, as we continue to watch the Hutchinson-Ashby scrap.
That's right, it's Hutchinson, the Lincolnshire man, who's just ahead. He's in his 6th season now in the championship, the former motorcyclist. He's still ahead of Dan Ashby in this ex-Vincent Dubois Spire, a 2021 build car that he prepared with his son Bill, I think, and does Ian Hutchinson, but he's still there ahead of Dan Ashby, who continues to chase him. I think Ashby was on the podium here last year, wasn't he? A really strong result a season ago at Croft. I think Ashby seems to enjoy this circuit well. Yeah. But that small mistake he made up at the hairpin just cost him a few positions, and he can't quite recover them just yet. Although a better line here through Sonny, and he has a look through Sonny out. Hutchinson gives him space. They're going to be side by side on the way up towards the complex. Yeah, and we're going to get a change here for 6th position. It's nip and tuck as they arrive at the complex. I think he probably is going to be Ashby that gets through. Yes, he does. So Ashby, an elongated manoeuvre, does get through into 6th position there. A couple of penalties are coming through for an out of position start, this time for Cole Austin and Colin Chapman. Okay, so they're going to get 10-second time penalties for that. Interesting what you were saying a moment or so ago, Josh, about the work that's done by a father and son to prepare their car, and you really can do that. You don't need to run with a team like Mattel Cars in Sports 1000. You can very much go in as a privateer entry, do all of the work yourself. It's obviously a more cost-effective route. You need to obviously be confident and competent enough with the spanners to be able to do that, but very much plenty of options. Ryan Yarrow is certainly multiple champion in Sports 1000. He did all the work on the cars of himself, and he proved that you can certainly do that and be quick. So whether you want to do arrive and drive or have a team run your car, or
do the spannering yourself, plenty of options to get into Sports 1000, which in terms of bang for buck, in terms of the pace that these cars do, is pretty much unbeatable in terms of value for money. So watching now as Balderston now in the Mattel Cars entry, he was about 2 seconds clear of Dan Close at the start of the lap, which is lap number 7 of the race, and I think that lead has probably extended a bit now, Josh.
He's lapping a second and a half quicker. It is Osbaldeston. He's in the low 25. It's 1 minute 25.092, the fastest lap of the race for Osbaldeston. He's 1.4 seconds outside of Richard Webb's lap record, and I think the regulations were slightly different, but it is a mighty performance this from Osbaldeston. He's clearly quicker than the much more experienced and reigning champion Dan Clues, at least here at Croft, in only the start of his second season of racing. But they're both really playing catch up in the championship at this early point, aren't they? They do score points because in Sports 1000s, if you don't finish, you sort of still classified in the points behind, but they are still will have to close down on Cole Austin, the championship leader. Although Austin's result here might not be as good as he would have liked because of this out of position start penalty. No,
that's certainly a possibility that he's going to be a bit further back than he would like. Still have scores to drop at the end of the season as well. So it's 3 scores that are dropped in Sports 1000.
New for this year, isn't it?
It is. So, which accommodates the triple header that they have at Silverstone, and we're due to have here as well, really. So if you just opt to miss one of those weekends, then that does mean that you don't necessarily write off the whole season.
Cole Austin had a slow previous lap, and I don't think he's really got back up to speed. He was in the 28s on the previous lap, and that's also partly the gap coming down because Jonathan McGill's going quicker than he's gone previously. He was in the 26s on the last lap, so McGill, who's probably having his weekend of weekends here at Croft, he's on really for another podium, isn't he? Because he's well within 10 seconds of Cole Austin, and on the road as well, he is catching him at this stage. Just saw a shot there of Tony Williamson, who's in his second ever racing meeting. He is from Leeds. What was I saying?
Oh no, Josh, what have you done? Johnny McGill has gone off there into the gravel trap at Clevo. He's trying to get out of it, and he's managed to do it, and he's rejoined the circuit, so that's good news again from the point of view of everybody else's race.
And especially Cole Austin, because now the car behind him has also got a penalty, which is Colin Chapman. So can Dan Ashby get another Croft podium here? He is 3-7. He's about 9 seconds behind Cole Austin, so it's not going to be a race battle on the circuit, but it's going to be a race battle on the clock between Cole Austin and Dan Ashby for the podium. And on the last lap, Ashby was a tenth quicker.
Yeah, and very similar lap times they've been doing, I think, for a lot of the race, really. It's just that moment for Ashby, and obviously the very good start for Carl Austin that have been the difference between the two of them.
If Ashby gets there, we will have 6 different podium finishers out of 6 possible positions. So more than half of the grid could go away with a podium here.
That just goes to show how unpredictable motorsport can be sometimes, and how anybody is capable really of being on the podium if all the stars align. I know that yesterday the drivers were talking about how close the racing was. I know that they're expecting more cars on the grid for the next meeting, which is on the Grand Prix circuit at Silverstone.
It's going to be a rare opportunity, that, isn't it? Supporting British F4, part of the BRDC International Trophy. Ashby was 6 tenths quicker than Austin, so the gap's coming down. So the actual gap between them is actually slightly bigger than I thought it was. It's 10.8 seconds, isn't it? So Ashby does need to go quicker than Cole Austin here to get that podium. So in real terms, 8 tenths of a second between Cole Austin and Dan Ashby for the podium.
Dan Clues did his personal best lap of the race on the last lap, but was still 8 tenths slower than Noah Osbaldeston. So that's quite galling, I would think, for Dan to be driving as best he can, but still losing ground to Noah Osbaldeston, who won the one race during the course of last season. So I think it was half a dozen for Dan. Yeah, it was half a dozen wins that Dan had last year in the championship to head to his first Sports 1000 title.
Yeah, I think we're going to have further variety at Silverstone as well, because Vincent Dubois is due to bring the Sabre back out, which we saw on a couple of occasions last year. And Also for this year, cars that are more than 10 years old will have an end of season award, the best of those, and Charlie Thomas is due to bring out the older spec Mattel, the MC52, for that weekend.
Okay, look forward to that. Meanwhile, we're watching Daniel Ashby, and he's just put a lap on the 22 car of the relative newcomer, Tony Williamson. You can see the black cross on the yellow background on the rear of his car. Ashby's car, I'm not sure how well that's handling. It seems to be a little bit skittish almost through the hairpin there. Let's see what kind of lap time he has done that time as he goes over the line. He's done a 1:28.7, so he's sort of a second and a half off his best, but he did have traffic to deal with, and he's 11.2 seconds I think behind Carl Austin, which is the car he needs to finish within 10 seconds of to potentially be on the podium.
Questions coming through on the live stream, Ian, and one is what the engines are in these cars.
So these are 1000cc engines. They have to be from Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki or Yamaha from certain years in the early part of the 20th century, but they're standard, they're not modified, the engines, but 1000cc engines from powerful road bikes is what goes into these cars, and they make a fantastic noise, don't they?
That's right, they're proper racing cars. They're very, very quick. Certainly the quickest type of car I think you can get for the money. And I know Scott Mattel, who's been trying to encourage people out. He reckons there's about 50 of these cars out there, so there's so many people who've got cars at home in the garage. So if you are one of those, either bring it out or perhaps pass it on to somebody else who would like to go racing in one of these cars.
Absolutely.
They've created some great racing over the years. They're really very fast indeed. Sort of around the pace of a GT4 car, aren't they, around here? But on a much smaller budget, of course. Yeah,
and they run on treaded tyres as well, so you've not got slicks. There's a control tyre. You're limited to the amount that you can have in the season. Of course, the car's very lightweight as well. 550 kilos is the minimum weight for the front engine cars, 580 for the mid and rear engine cars.
There's Dan Ashby, who's just done a mega lap, a personal best, a 1:27.067. That was 1.2 seconds quicker than Cole Austin. He is now, in reality, just 0.2 of a second away from a podium. So another lap like that, and Cole Austin might not be on the podium, but Dan Ashby's sort of question mark is he's got Colin Chapman just ahead of him, who in real terms is not involved in the battle because he's got the penalty.
No, absolutely right. And does Daniel know about all of this? We know about it. We're watching the timing screen. We've seen the news of the penalties, but it might be possible that Dan is blissfully unaware. I don't know if he's been getting any pit signals or anything like that.
That could be the case for Cole Austin, though, couldn't it?
It could certainly be.
It's where both of them need to be pushing on right to the end. They need their teams on the pit wall urging them on to keep going as quickly as they can.
You do see less pit boards these days than you used to in club racing. There's not as many...
it's even less at international or national level.
Exactly. There's not many team members on there. There's a slippery surface flag now being shown at the complex. It was briefly. Not quite sure what that was for. It's gone back in.
Meanwhile, Ross Balderson's just on the best lap of the race. 1:24.998. No one else is below a 26. He leads by 10 seconds now.
Right, just going to watch as Daniel Ashby comes across the line. What's the gap between him and Carl Austin now? It is 0.3 seconds, I think, outside of the 10 seconds.
So, yeah, he's a tenth slower than Austin on that lap, and this sort of confusion, really, of Colin Chapman could just cost Dan Ashby the podium, it might seem. But interesting how Ashby seems to go so much better here at Croft than perhaps he does at other venues. But really fast round here. Had that podium here a year ago. And well, it's on potentially here, but really needs to clear Colin Chapman and then get his foot down to see if he can get within 10 seconds. Just to remind you, Cole Austin and Colin Chapman both were out of position at the start, so have a 10 seconds to be added to their race time.
Yeah, and this is the problem, isn't it? I think if we got a clear track, Ashby would have had a good chance here of getting within 10 seconds, but Chapman, obviously, very similar pace to Ashby, a very experienced driver, not going to be easy to get past. Meanwhile, now as Balderston has just gone on to his final lap of the race, he's now leading Dan Clues by more than 12 seconds. There you can see the last lap board hanging from the pit wall. Those of you on the live stream, there is Noah. Had the disappointment of the non-finish yesterday. He's through the chicane, down the back straight towards Tower for the final time, really in a race of his own here.
Ryan, who I think is a mate of Noah Osbaldeston, wants Tom to remind him that he's supposed to do a shoey when he wins this race. So that's Tom's task down in pit lane for our race leader, Noah Osbaldeston, who turns his way. Absolutely dominant drive with that really good move to take the lead, remember, at Tower Corner. So the only blip really from his driving is those starts, isn't it? I know he'll be working on those ahead of the next meeting, but pace-wise, it's absolutely phenomenal. Way faster than anybody else this weekend.
Yeah, if he could get those starts nailed, then he'd be dangerous, wouldn't he? But he's still had a really, really strong race here. He should have had the win yesterday as well, but for a mechanical issue about halfway through the race. But he's turning through the hairpin for the final time, coming towards the end of the 14th and final lap of the race, and it's going to be a win for Noah Osbaldeston in round 2 of the Nankang Tyre Sports 1000 Championship.
Meanwhile, in the battle of a third on the last lap, Dan Ashby's now ahead on corrected times by 0.4 of a second over Cole Austin. Austin had a slower last lap, but still Ashby is behind Chapman on the road. There he is. He doesn't want to be held up. He's urging Colin Chapman to drive as quickly as he can, because he may still be within 10 seconds of Cole Austin and onto the podium.
Yeah, Cole Austin out of our window is just turning through the hairpin. And I think it looks less than 10 seconds now to me. Cole Austin coming up to the line, and he's going to take the checkered flag.
As he should be, I don't think.
No, he's not. It feels like it's less than 10 seconds out of the hairpin. Comes Dan Ashby. He's up and over the line, 5th on the road, but he is third in the results, because he's done that because it was a slow lap from Austin, wasn't it? And he's eventually ahead of him by 3 seconds, I think.
I think Austin was dawdling, wasn't he, out the final corner, and that's what's cost him. The top 4, I don't think finished in the top 4 yesterday. Goodness knows who leads the championship going to Silverstone in the Nankang Tyre Sports 1000 Championship. There may have only been 11 drivers here, but 6 of them have finished on the podium in 2 races.
Well, that was quite the race. Still cars yet to come through to take the checkered flag as well. The 88 car of Chris Brayshaw is over the line. So too is 22 Tony Williams. I think, he's going to be the final finish, because we lost Naeem Hack to the pits, and we lost the Alex Jones BDN after that was off at the first corner with damage.
Both Austin and Chapman are shown on the time machine with a 15-second penalty, which I didn't think...
I think they've both had track limits penalties as well, possibly. I think... Well, we'll get confirmation of that later
Either
on.
way, Ashby's third. Oh, they've been corrected now to 10 seconds, so it wasn't Ian Hutchinson in 4th. It was Cole Austin. So I think Cole Austin is the championship leader, isn't he, despite that. But it is the podium for Dan Ashby, but the win for Noah Osbaldeston.
Yeah, shall we have a look at the results of that now? That's all been sorted out, if we can, as they're about to head into the pit lane. Certainly it was Noah Osbaldeston that took the win. 14 laps completed in the 20 minutes of racing, and he won by more than 15 seconds in the end over the number 1 car of Dan Clues in 2nd place. 3rd place went the way of number 33 Daniel Ashby. 4th was 44 Carl Austin in 6th place. 5th place, I should say, number 69 Ian Hutchinson. 7th was Colin Chapman in number 63. 8th was number 88 Chris Brayshaw, and the last finisher was number 22 Tony Williamson. He was a lap down. Naeem Hack and Alex Jones were retirements from the Sports 1000 Championship race, and Sports 1000 picks up again at Silverstone at the end of next month. 2 more races to come here this afternoon. A sprint race for the Tagiwa Taipao Trophy coming up next, and then the Tagiwa Club Enduro Championship to round out the day. That's going to be a 2.5-hour race. Very pleased is Noah as he gets out of the car and receives the congratulations of the team and a bottle of water as well, because he'll want a drink of that after a hard 20 minutes of racing. And shortly, you think, we'll be able to head down to Tom Butterworth, who is ready to speak to Noah Osbaldeston in the pit lane.
Yes, back down in the pit lane again with a very happy Noah Osbaldeston. Not only was that a great overtake move around Austin into the complex as well, but then full send on Klaus into Tower and got that one done as well.
Yeah, that was just a fantastic race. I think, I really had another awful start, but I think that's a bit of a trend with the season. Same with last year. We had a quite poor starts. But no, this year I'm really happy to get the first sort of weekend out the way. I was a bit sceptical after race 1. We had some issues, but the guys at Mattel have been fantastic about getting the car back out and ready for race 2. You know, it's quite impressive to have such a mishap with the engine to then be able to come back and by far have one of the best cars on the grid. So huge thanks to Scott and the Mattel team. But yeah, just down the inside of Dan, I noticed he braked quite early into Tower, so I thought, you know, with these cars I need to get it done quite early. So yeah, really just sent it and lick a stamp and send it sort of thing.
Yeah, I said to our cameraman Andy, I said to him that Royal Mail are going to start charging you if you keep sending stuff like that. But I also said as well, when you were going through Clairvaux and Hawthorns as well, if these cars had door handles, you'd have had it on him. It was proper leaning. You were not hanging about. It was full send every corner, every lap. It was really impressive.
Yeah, you've got to be aggressive in these sort of cars because the way the front downforce is built, you've only got front downforce, so there's not a lot of rear downforce. So got to get the move nice and early, nice and clean. And I just saw an opportunity, and I was like, well, I'm not hanging around here for much longer. So down the inside, got the job done, and yeah, really happy to pick up the result.
And left everyone behind.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. For English. Oh my God, it's all gone now. Neil Rediford from my coach has prepared me really well for it. We've been doing mountains and mountains of stuff in the simulator, and with George Palozzi as well, who's on his way as an up-and-coming racing driver too. We've been playing hundreds of hours into the simulator, and finally, I'm just hugely happy to be able to get the Remote boys a win because we've been working so hard for this, and so has Scott. I mean, Scott's been plugging away in the winter scenes behind as well, making sure the car was ready after last year. Yeah, he's done a fantastic job. He looks after us so well, and we're by far the best team on the grid, and he really makes it sure that that's known.
Great stuff. Thank you, Noah. Congratulations. Absolutely over the moon. Dan, we'll come over to your car for this one as well. So I'm going to guess you might be slightly disappointed with that one, but still a very good result.
To be honest, given what I did yesterday at Turn, I'm a lot happier. So yeah, can't complain. Noah's got some cracking pace in that car at the moment, and we've been through testing Friday. We were sort of nothing between our times. He caught me out at Tower, and just kept sneaking away from me. And I think at that point I kind of settled for it.
I don't think he leaves much on the table in terms of lap time every corner by the looks of his driving.
Absolutely, yeah. He's a very talented boy, and he's very, very quick. So very committed.
Excellent.
And, yeah, looking forward to the next battle next time out.
I'm sure you are. It was a good one as well. So yeah, good result there for Dan. Thank you, Daniel Ashby. We'll come over this way so we can get the car in shot for you. Did you know?
No.
The best way to start.
They pulled me in. They put me in front of the penalty sign. I was thinking, I don't remember doing anything that bad, and I don't recall my number being shown. But then they took it out of the way and surprised me with a third. So yeah, pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, chuffed a bit.
So what actually happened? What's?
Let's just say others around you were losing their heads.
Right. Okay.
Few penalties. No, just a couple of penalties and stuff. But yeah, you must be over the moon with the podium.
Yeah, especially as I think I was on the second lap. I spun out at the hairpin, lost a couple of places, so it's hard work to get those places back. So yeah, that's good. I'm really pleased with that.
Great stuff, and congratulations. We've already got the Tagiwa Tyre trophies are heading round on their formation lap, and they're going to head on a green flag lap in just a moment. So we will hand back up to Ian and Josh in the commentary box.